Okay, welcome back YouTube. How's everyone doing? I just wanted to give you guys an update here on the 411. I'm doing a little work on the intake. I just took it all apart. Here you can see, and here's where the old oil bath filter goes. And so I just took it all apart, a couple parts here. Yeah, it's got this cover. This cover here, that's where the air comes into the engine. It goes through this oil bath filter and then up through this pipe and it into the intake of the engine. So, yeah, you guys are probably looking at my wiring there. It's a little bit of a mess, but anyways, here's my 411. So I'm working on the intake. Let's show you over here in my little shop. Here we go. So this is the oil bath filter, and talking to some folks online and looking up some things and looking at what people have done in the past. So the really what I'm after is getting rid of the oil bath filter. What happens is the air comes in, it goes through this oil that sits in this bottom of this thing and then sucks oil basically up into the intake. It does filter out the air coming through, but you know, it's a bit of a mess. So you have to keep after this oil. It's in this oil bath filter to keep it clean and everything. So talking to folks, they've done these retro upgrades to these where you take all the stuff out and you can put a regular paper filter in with some adapters. So I went out and I got some filters. So here's the filter that's going to go in this thing. Now, this is from like a Citroen or something. It came from Latvia, these filters. You can't, it's really hard to get here in the US, so I was able to find it on eBay. But anyways, it's going to fit right in here. Hard to see. But it needs an adapter. So I designed this adapter piece, and a colleague of mine was able to print it with PETG. So this is printed material, and the way this is going to work is this is going to go right on top of the filter like that, and that's going to space it up. And then I got a couple different styles of gaskets. I'm going to put a little gasket on the top here that's going to seal. It's going to seal on the top surface. So the reason you have to have this adapter is because the pipe on the Unimog is offset. It's not centered. And also this thing's kind of beat up and stuff, so I'm going to have this sort of a gasket on the top of it to take up the lack of smoothness there on the top. Anyways, so I did go to the store. I was able to find this piece here, and I cut it down. Like this was what I was going to do, but I decided to design a better piece than this. This was just like a downspout type thing, where it was like an adapter. It went from like a 5-inch down to a 4-inch. Anyways, this fits pretty well on the filter, but it goes on the outside of the sealing surface there. So decided to make something up. I drew this in CAD and then sent it over to a colleague of mine who has a printer, had access to a printer, and now I've got a part. So anyways, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull this filter, oil bath filter assembly apart, and it looks like I may have to do some cutting because this pipe goes through here. It's like a right angle. Let's see, kind of hard to see there with the light. But it has a hard right angle, turns straight down the center, and so I need to kind of cut this off so I can get the air filter, the paper filter in there. Okay, so I'm gonna get after this. I'll bring you back once I have it assembled, show you how it turns out. Okay, talk to you soon. Okay, bringing you back, folks. I just spent a few minutes taking this filter apart, this oil bath filter. So had to get a little medieval, cut around on this sort of a mesh piece that was kind of held in there, and then it's got all of this real fine metal mesh wire in it, and people were saying that over time this stuff kind of breaks down. You can get it in your engine and whatnot, so that's part of the reason why I'm doing this. You see it's kind of rusty here on the top where it's got water coming in the intake. Anyways, now I get to figure out how to remove that down in there and remove this pipe that's going down the center. So that's the next step. I will work on that, try to get this cleaned up. I'm going to get my floppy wheel out, maybe my grinder, maybe some cutters. We'll see. Somehow I need to get this right angle pipe out of here, and then I'll be able to work on this housing. It's a little bit dented here and there, so I'm going to clean that up and try to bang the dents out a little bit, make it a little bit easier for the air filter, paper filter to go in here. All right, I will bring you back. Talk to you soon. Okay, bringing you back here. I've just been working on this a little bit more. This is the intake box for the 411, and so I cut this out. I used a Dremel tool to cut this piece, but I need to cut a little bit more off so I can get my adapter piece in there. I'm going to open this up and clean it up some more and make it nice inside so it's not so all grungy. And I will say that this piece out here was tack welded on all the way around, probably 10 tack welds, something like that. So I had to break those off, and intake pipe is out. So this is looking good. I need to just cut this shorter. Here my finger is, because I can't quite get my adapter piece in there, and then I'm going to bang out some dents, and yeah, we'll be on our way. Alright, I will bring you back when I get it all finished up. Okay, back out of here's another update. I went through and got all this stuff out. I was able to cut it right back to the edge where I needed to be for the inlet pipe, and then I was able to get the 4.5-inch grinder in there to clean up all the remnants of the filter mess. Sort of the block off plate there with the holes on it. So okay, now I get to clean this all up. Look at my bench, man. This is a mess. I had this all cleaned this morning. I'm gonna clean this off. I might spray some paint on this. I do need to bang out the dents. Yeah, there's a couple dents here I'm gonna bang out. And then I'm gonna check fits with this filter, air filter, paper filter that is. I'm gonna check the fit and see how my adapter's fitting, get the overall length, check the stack and everything, and then put it all together, and hopefully I'll have a new filter set up on my 411. Alright, I will give you an update when it's all back together. See you. Okay, back at it. I'm gonna just check the stack here with all the parts. I've got my filter adapter here, and I did put this little 8mm seal the whole way around it. So I wanted to do that because, you know, the top of my filter housing here has got a little bit of dents to it. I did bang it out, and I did Dremel off some welds from the previous owners, probably in the mines of Canada somewhere. They were welding this thing at one point. So I've got it all cleaned out. I did not yet paint it, but I'm going to paint this once I get this figured out. So here's my filter adapter piece, and I've got the seal on it. I'm going to put it in here just to see how this fits. Okay. I'm trying to do this with two hands. Give me a second. Okay. So that's right where I want it there. Kind of centered. And then my filter is going to go on here. Okay. And the end cap. Here we go. Alright, hard to do when you're doing the camera. Okay, so you end up with this gap. It's a pretty big gap there. It's more gap than I wanted, but that seal will squish down all the way tight. And let's see here. Let's see if I can get this snapped on. There's one. There's two. And three. Okay, so that's all three snapped on. Let's see what the gap looks like. No gap here, but there is a gap right in there. So typically it has this rubber gasket here. It's around this part that goes in there, but I'm running without that. So Maybe I need to put it in a gasket here, I'm not sure. I mean, the air's just going to be able to go right through there. It's also going to go right through here. So do I care if there's a little bit of a gap there? It is shielded from water. Yeah, let me think about that. Looks pretty good. Here, let's check on the top. See right down the middle of it. Looks like there's no overlap there. It's just working the way it needs to work. So the air is going to come right up through the center, come over this way a little bit, and then come up the tube in the intake. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. I might consider adding a little seal in between here. All in all, it's going to look factory, and it's going to be much better, much easier to maintain. And you know, I'm not in a dusty environment or anything. We're just running around the neighborhood and stuff. So this will be, I think, a better setup. Okay. All right, well, I think what I'm going to do is get this apart, sand it up a little bit, and paint it on the inside so it's not all rusty, and then put this on the truck. Talk to you guys later. Okay, so update on the filter housing here on the 411. I cleaned this up and put a little paint inside there just so that it's not rusting. Yeah, it looks good. Yep. So I'm gonna wait for that to dry, and this sort of gasket was on the piece that went in between here, so I took that off and I put an O-ring in the inside of it. You can see down here. Probably it's hard to see, but there you go. I have a large diameter O-ring in there to kind of give it a little bit more thickness, and so that's going to go right in there like that. And then yeah, I'm pretty happy with the stack up. I got it all stacked up now and just right the way I want it. So this will be ready to go back on here in a little bit. I just need to wait for the paint to dry, and then we can go forward. So I'm going to leave the outside the way it is. This old orange paint was from the mines, and then it had green paint on it, so that kind of is fitting, goes with the truck. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to paint this up super nice and make it all like restored looking. So all right, I will let you know when I get it back on. Okay folks, back at it here on the filter housing. I got this all back together now. You know, paint's dry. It's a little bit tacky still, but I think we're ready to go. I've got this all buttoned up. Got my filter in there and my spacer. Yep, looks good. And then got this seal to go around here. The old one was pretty yucky. This is like a rubber seal. This is more of like a foam seal. It fits pretty well, so I'm going to use that. That'll help keep water out and keep the air moving the way it's supposed to. So, all right, I'm getting ready to put this back on the truck. I think that pretty much wraps up this series here on the air filter housing revamp and upgrade to the paper filter. So, hope you guys like this. Just like and subscribe. And let me know what you think about the setup. Thanks. Okay, last little bit here on the air filter. I've got this back on all together. Yep, got my wires in the way. Yep, all tied up. I did have to put another bolt in here. This thing did not have a fourth bolt. Yeah, so I'm missing that. But anyways, I'm happy with the setup. And I'm going to go test it out next time we rock and rumble with this thing, and hopefully we'll be able to have a new air filter and it'll be more free flowing with the engine and everything. So looking forward to it. All right, see ya.